Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pure Faith Podcast. I am your host, Michelle Waymeyer, and with me is my brother and co-host, Mitchell Heitkamp.
Whoa!
We ask that you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit the notification icon to be notified when new episodes are released.
Whoa.
I know, right? We're doing this a little bit earlier than what we usually do, so I got a little bit more energy.
We're doing it earlier, not only in the day, but in the
week. Yeah.
So,
and it's like, we weren't going to do it until later tonight. And then Grandma said she'd feed the grandboys. So it was like, okay, let's do it now. Get it over with.
Yeah. So I can get them picked up earlier so she doesn't have them all night.
Yeah. Really, that's a great idea. So It just would have been nice if we would have planned it, I don't know, like yesterday instead of like today.
There was miscommunication.
Or none.
Or none.
Oh, so thanks, Grandma.
Yes, thank you, Mother.
But yeah, no, we've got a busy week this week, so we decided to record a little bit earlier. We're having a wedding bash for Olivia and Owen this coming weekend, so we were very, very busy. They are getting married in December, but we are celebrating them this coming weekend for us. So fun times, very. I don't even think it's stressful. It's just
It's not stressful for me.
I know, right? We just got things we
like,
gotta do.
At all.
Zero
stress at all.
Yeah, right. I really don't have any stress either, except for I just know like we bought this large tent and we've not put it up yet.
No.
And so it's the first time putting it up, and it's like, okay, so this could go really smoothly or it could go really bad.
Yeah, I did kind of forget about that.
Yeah. Mind you, I've texted them multiple times. But
I don't think I've ever responded.
But no, we will, it'll be good. Everything will work out just fine. So no worries there. Does this have full percent? Oh, look, 100% battery.
Yeah, because I asked Paige to plug it in before she went to work.
Okay, so let me just tell you that I had your boys again for a short period of time.
When?
I don't remember. Remember you and Paige went out to dinner with your friends.
Okay. That was Sunday.
Yeah, so it was Sunday. And I just had them for a few hours from like 4 p.m. to like 7 p.m. But this was in the bag.
Oh, for church?
Like no percentage and no passcode. Like I had no idea what the passcode was. You had one upset little boy.
Could have called us.
I didn't want to interrupt your dinner. Plus, they don't need to be on that thing.
No, they don't.
So we found other things to do.
I was throwing them from church.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Don't put it in there again when they come.
I'll try not to.
Thank you. Oh shoot. So
we actually had it lost for a little bit. It's like, where's the iPad at? Like, and then we finally realized it was still in the diaper bag.
Oh yeah, probably dead.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably.
Paige was the one that needed it, not me.
Oh well, interesting enough.
She uses it to read her Bible reading.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Oh, good. This is a very holy tablet.
It is. Does a lot.
Yeah. And hold your notes for the Bible study that we're about to partake in.
Yeah, I'm even less prepared this week than I was last time.
Well, it's summertime. It's like, really, it's a busy time of the year.
Yeah.
So, and you haven't had military weekend in a while to get prepared, but you've got that this weekend. Okay, seriously.
So itchy.
Don't you have to shave that for this weekend?
Yeah, I'll probably shave it.
It's like sticking out so far.
Probably.
Will you please just tame it? Thank you.
I still have bed beard. I don't take care of my beard before I go to work.
Oh, that's really. Even though we grew up with this, I still can't. Grew up with it. Yeah. He never tamed his beard. It was all over the place.
As he got older, he kept it short.
Well, yeah, so short that it was so weird. It was so weird how short he would keep it, but we actually just talked about this. So, I might have a son that could be worried that he's going to go bald like his dad. And my response is, Grandpa Leo had a full head of hair with
Look at me. I don't have a full head of hair.
Oh, I know. And it's supposed to go by your mom's dad, right?
I don't know.
And if you look at that, then yeah, you should be bald. But
Well,
Matt's not. I know. It's so weird. Grandpa Conk was.
Grandpa Heitkamp was too. Well, he wasn't like bald, but he was
Grandpa,
thin.
right. But yeah, he still had nice hair. Grandma took good care of it. She combed it over for him.
Yeah.
She did a good job.
Yeah, Grandpa Conk was bald.
Grandpa Conk was bald. And so Don's grandpa, Hartzell, Carolyn's dad, bald. So I just told this son of mine that no worries, Grandpa Leo had some hair. You might be okay. Not sure it's gonna go that way. Noah will probably have hair until he's well off to go to heaven. He'll have a luscious head of hair. Then he'll probably bald as bald comes.
Although Matt is thinning.
Oh.
Did you
Yeah,
not know this?
I've noticed a little bit.
I just went sooner than he did.
A lot sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's better off. You like gave up. Like Don. You just give up. Like just
Well, have I ever told you the story of the first time I shaved my head? It was an accident.
Oh, I don't know if I knew that.
So
I don't know if I knew that.
here's a fun story. So it was in Kuwait on my last deployment, and I went into the barber shop. Normally, I took my clippers with me, and I just buzzed my own hair.
Yeah.
Well, I was in the transition of a move back to Kuwait from Iraq, and my clippers were still packed up, and I really needed a haircut. Whatever. I'm just going to go to the barber shop, and I'm going to have them do it. So I walk in there, and if you've been deployed, you will know that a lot of the workers on post are not American, and
Okay.
they typically don't speak English very well.
Okay.
So I walked in there, and I
Don't
was like,
say.
"Hey,
Did you say
can you shave
shave
my
this
head?"
off?
And he looked at me. He's like, "Dave," I was like, "Yeah, can you shave my head?" Like, that's all of it? I was like, well, "Yeah, all of it." And so I sit down in the chair, and he gets the clippers out, and he's buzzing my head. I'm like, "Perfect." And the next thing I know,
No.
he breaks out the shaving cream, and
And you didn't stop
I was like, "What is he doing?"
him?
But
No.
but I was considering doing this anyways.
Well, was this the time? I mean, were you really kind of thinning and at this time?
Oh yeah, I was thinning.
Yeah, I think yeah. And so it
Like
probably
it was. That's why I didn't stop him. Like I've been wanting to do this. I just never made the initiative. I'm like, maybe this is God working in my life. I might need to shave my head. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm gonna let this go. And I think he even used a straight razor,
Oh my
like
gosh.
traditional.
Yeah.
And his towel was red.
Oh.
First, well,
Oh my
you
gosh.
have to realize the first time you shave your head, you actually have a bunch of little bumps and stuff that they're just there just
Yeah.
naturally, and so they're getting all shaved off. And so
Oh my gosh.
every now and then I'll get a bump or something that I'll shave off and it'll be bloody, but yeah, so it was an
Fun fact.
experience.
If you get deployed, just say
Be clear.
buzz.
Be clear. Yeah.
As clear as you can in English.
So yeah, that was fun.
Oh my
And I've been shaving my
goodness.
head ever since.
Yes, you have.
Well, I took that little break.
Yeah. Don
That's recorded. Go back to the old episodes. It's recorded.
Don had Don sometimes will go 3 days. He usually shaves every other day, and he does the same thing. I mean, he shaves his whole head, shaves his beard and his face, whatever. And sometimes he'll go 3 days, and I'll be like, "Are you like trying out for a movie or something?" Like I don't remember what the movie is. That we always say that he looks like he's one of the actors on it. He puts on some shades. Transporter, is that what it's
Oh,
called? And
Statham? Jason
yes,
Statham?
yeah, because he always has that little bit of just a little bit of a shadow everywhere. Like you auditioning for a movie or like a stunt double? Like what's going on here? Like maybe you should
I
shave.
think he's too old to be a stuntman.
Yeah, he is 47. But I mean, it's still funny. Yeah. So
So
sometimes he'll drive like he is in the transporter too, and I'll ask him to stop. Can you please stop it?
as soon as I put it in sport mode, Paige yells at me. So
I
I
know.
don't even get
Don't
to.
even do it.
But they put sport mode in cars for a reason, and so guys can feel that
Yeah, but just do it when you're by yourself. Why?
it's her car. I don't drive it by myself. I don't have sport mode on my car.
The only mode that we put it on is economy when we're on the interstate.
I do that sometimes, actually.
Oh, shoot. All right. Okay, we probably should do a podcast. I don't know how
Yeah,
many notes you have because you didn't print any, so I'm gonna just
I
take
don't even.
notes. I say we get started.
Okay. Well, before we get into the next verse, um, there is kind of a change of feeling in the Beatitudes. So the first four have been more about your personal development with
Okay.
your relationship with
Mm-hmm.
God. So poor in spirit being about living a life focused on God. Um, those who mourn, blessed are those who mourn, or those who are mourning for a deeper relationship with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed are the meek, where that is more about having that humble spirit and treating others with that love and dignity
Mm-hmm.
that the Lord shows us. So
Mm-hmm.
treating others the way that God treats us and loving your neighbor like you love yourself. And then hunger and thirst. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness was about those who have that desire, that burning desire to live a life that is right in the eyes of the Lord. So so living your life the way that you think the Lord is guiding you to lead your
Mm.
life. So these are about your personal relationship with the Lord and developing that relationship with the Lord.
Okay.
But as we move on into these next three, they are going to be more about um, how to conduct yourself. Like they're more on instructions on how you should live your life more than on developing that relationship with the Lord.
Okay.
And that'll make more sense as I get into it. Um, but that's just something that I just wanted to start out with before we even get into this. So, verse 7 reads, Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. So, this is going to be the episode about mercy. All
Mm.
about mercy. Show me mercy.
No.
So, when I say mercy, what do you think of?
I don't
See, you don't
know.
have any notes. See, I
I
can.
know, right?
Normally, you have the answers because you read the
I know,
notes.
right? I don't have my notes.
So, normally, when we think of biblical mercy, like
Yeah, I was
God's
gonna say
mercy,
it and I don't say it.
well, mercy is about forgiveness,
Yeah.
but the other word that you often correlate with mercy is grace
Yeah.
because they're in that same ballpark. And I guess that's a good way of saying it.
Yeah, I've got my Cincy shirt on, so yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I have my Jesus had a beard.
Yeah, we know.
Be like Jesus.
Be like Jesus.
So I'm trying to be like Jesus.
I'm not gonna be like Jesus in that way.
I mean, if you want to,
That'd be
you
really neat.
could. Um, so we're going to look at the difference between mercy and grace starting out here as we
Oh,
get into
good.
this. And again, the blessed are Makarios. Again, if you want to see or learn more about that, you can click on the link. Um, so mercy is the definition of mercy is to be forgiven of wrongs when you don't deserve it.
Okay.
A lot of people use mercy and grace, and, but they don't fully understand the actual definitions.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to cover that. And the definition of mercy is to be forgiven of wrongs. when you don't deserve it. Grace is along that same lines. You're still being forgiven of those those wrongdoings, when you don't deserve it, but it adds onto it an additional blessing or a gift. And I will explain what I mean by that. So, the most common way that I explain this is, imagine that you are driving in your car.
Okay.
If you don't have your license, imagine you had your license and you're driving in a car.
Okay.
And you obviously do something that you know is wrong.
Mm.
Like, you may not have done it intentionally.
Mm.
Um,
People do this all the time.
well, yeah, especially with like distracted driving type
Mm.
people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you look up and there's a stoplight that's red and you don't have time to stop and you have to blow a red light, or stop signs, same
Stop
thing.
signs.
I know I've only ever gotten one speeding ticket in my life, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. I was on my way home from work, and I've been through this town before, but it was unfamiliar. Well, the town, you go around a curve in a wooded area,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go into the town like immediately after that. Well, I didn't see the speed limit drop from 55 to 35. And I mean, I was slowing down, but I didn't slow down fast enough, apparently.
Mm.
And the local town cop
You got ticketed.
had nothing better to do than to give me a ticket that
Well,
night.
yeah. No.
So,
I've only had one ticket also, but we won't tell my story.
yeah, for 95 and a 35.
It wasn't that
Oh,
bad.
okay.
79 and 55.
Yeah.
Coming back from Lyndon Dale's house.
Oh, I do remember that now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I lost my license for a few days.
I didn't lose my license. Um, so yeah, things like that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do something like that and you realize you did something wrong, like immediately, and you're like, I did that wrong. And as soon as you realize you did it wrong, you see the lights in your rearview mirror.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're like, well, I know I did something wrong. I fully accept the fact that I'm going to get a ticket for
Mm-hmm.
this. I have no excuse. So you pull over, the cop comes up, but instead of giving you a ticket, he just
Gives
gives
you
you
a
a warning.
warning.
Well, you know you did wrong. He knows you did wrong, or she. The officer knew you did wrong, but yet they still chose to give you a warning. Well, that's mercy. I mean, you clearly did something
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but they chose not to punish you. So that is mercy.
Mm-hmm.
So to take it a step further to understand grace, let's say that same scenario applies, but in order to understand grace, we need to have more backstory. So let's say you are in a very tight spot financially. You don't have the means to buy groceries, let alone pay for
A
some sort
speeding
of
ticket. Mm-hmm.
violation ticket or whatever. So, but again, you still know you did wrong. You know you deserve the ticket, but you are really stressing over the fact of how are you going to pay for said ticket. Well, now this officer comes up to your car, and not only do they just give you a warning, but for some unknown reason, they decide to give you a gift card to a local grocery store
Mm.
that you didn't ask for.
Mm-hmm.
They just felt like, they had it and they weren't going to use it, and they just felt like they were being told to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So now not only did you not get the ticket for whatever violation that you had driving, which was the mercy, now you're being given a gift on top of that mercy. Now you're in grace.
Mm.
So it's about forgiveness for both of them, but then mercy takes it a step, or grace takes it a step further.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we see mercy, especially in this beatitude, we often correlate it with this forgiveness. But mercy is more than just forgiveness. Because to forgive somebody for something, I'm going to use my boys as an example because they
Mm-hmm.
fight a lot, as you well know.
Mm-hmm.
They're boys. They're young.
They're boys.
They hit each other. Anyways,
Only a couple times a minute.
yeah. So a lot of times what I do when they're hitting each other or one hits the other or whatever, I make the one or both, in a lot of cases, say sorry to the other, but then I also have the other one accept the forgiveness.
Mm.
It's um, okay, let's say Zeke hits Eli. I'll tell Zeke that he has to tell Eli sorry. He does. Then I tell Eli, do you forgive Zeke? Or do you accept his apology? Do you forgive him? And then Eli typically says yes. I don't know. I don't think he realizes what he's even saying. He's just
He's just
going
going with,
along with it.
yeah. Yeah.
But that's what I kind of do. So, like, whenever that situation occurs, they're just giving forgiveness for that one incident.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest here. Zeke's going to hit Eli again. Eli's going to hit Zeke again.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're starting to hit Ephraim.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Ephraim's the sweetest.
well, Ephraim's hitting back. So it's
But he's too cute.
it's
He's so cute.
because he looks like me.
All of your boys are cute, actually. None of them look
Like,
none
yeah,
of them
they're
look
all
alike.
different.
None of them look alike
No,
at all.
no,
Oh, but they all have their cuteness to them. They really do.
yeah.
But Evan's the baby. I mean, he's gonna be one like tomorrow or something, like
Eli,
Thursday.
Eli just gives me kisses all the time.
Oh,
Like he would just grab my arm and just give me a kiss on the arm, just
he,
randomly.
he's the sweet. They're so sweet that so when they hit each other, you don't want to punish them, so you want them just to forgive each other. So then do you take a step further and say, "All right, you apologize. Oh, you accept it's for okay, ice cream for everybody."
Now,
That's grace, isn't it? Isn't it though?
well, that would be grace, but I'm not the one that has to give the forgiveness here. It's between them. I'm just
Uh,
the overlord.
mm,
That's too powerful. I'm just overseeing what's happening.
okay.
Um, but like I was saying, they're going to hit each other again.
Yes, they are.
So that's going to require more forgiveness,
Yes.
more apologies, more forgiveness.
Lots of forgiveness.
But mercy takes that a step further than forgiveness because mercy is more about the mindset
Hmm.
and the viewpoint. So it's almost kind of like joy, how we were talking about joy
And
is a
happiness.
frame of
Yeah.
mind and happiness is a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is kind of a similar way where forgiveness would be like the happy, where it's kind of like, okay, it's just something that's happening right now,
Yeah.
but mercy is that state of being. It's that state of mind. It's something that you can be in all the time. So no matter what happens to you from whoever it is, you're always in that state of mercy that you can just give forgiveness freely, no questions asked,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a state of being. So like when I was saying before that this beatitude is more about the way we conduct ourselves now as Christians, as opposed to our um, developing our relationship with the
Mm-hmm.
Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So now being in that state of mercy is like living in that state of mind. So with that mercy, being in that state of mind, it is about having that being in that state of love.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord told us, love your neighbors like you love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is all about love. It's about living in a way that the Lord taught us to. I mean, the Lord, John 3:16, for
Yeah.
God so loved the world that he sent his only son. Well, this is that same concept. It's having that love for others so you can show them mercy and forgiveness. But what is love? So, to better understand love, we need to go to the most famous love passage in the Bible?
Corinthians.
Yes. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7. And this reads, Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. So from this is the best general outline of love that
Mm-hmm.
we have
Mm-hmm.
in the Bible, at least all in one spot. So not only does this tell us what love is, it also tells us what love isn't.
Mm.
So it kind of uses
Yeah.
both sides of the coin to help
Yeah.
you understand this.
It does.
So love is patient and kind.
Yes, it is.
It bears all,
Mm-hmm.
believes all, hopes all, and endures all.
Mm-hmm.
It does not envy or
Mm-mm.
boast, and it calls us to resist being arrogant, rude, selfish, irritable, or resentful. So this is something that I think we all need to, like, this is one of the passages that I think we all need to memorize as Christians
Mm.
because there is so much use in these verses. Because even now, the reason we are even talking about them now is because we need to keep what I just read there, all these attributes of love,
Mm-hmm.
we need to keep those at the forefront of our mind when we're in that state of mercy, when we are in a situation where we need to show mercy, we need to have these attributes of love in the forefront of our mind so that we know how to act. So
Mm.
when somebody does offend us, somebody does us wrong in some way, shape, or another, somebody cuts us off in traffic, or there's millions of different situations that we could talk about. But whenever you are in that situation, you need to have that mindset that you need to be merciful. You need to be living in a state of mercy. And while living in that state of mercy, it's all based on love. And so that's where you need to make sure you know that you need to be patient and kind and bear all and believe all and hope all and endure all. And don't envy or boast or be arrogant, rude, selfish, irritable, or resentful.
Mm.
So these are all the things that we need to keep in mind when we are talking about mercy. I mean, this is all coming from one word, mercy.
I know, right?
And this is all the things that it is actually calling us to do. But this is like all the other beatitudes that we've covered. What you see on the surface is just on the
Yeah.
surface.
It's a
It goes
challenge.
so much deeper than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what this is about as well. I mean, this isn't any different than any of the other ones. Oh, I think I'm talking too fast, am I?
I don't know. You
Oh,
got about 4 minutes left, so
oh,
you're about hitting it on time.
yeah, it's because we didn't talk too much at the beginning.
I know, right?
Hmm. So, why? Hold on, let me get something to drink.
Oh,
It's your turn to talk.
oh, I don't do much talking except
Mm,
for at the very beginning.
mm.
This is where I say, "Hey, that's a really nice cup."
And then I have to reply, "Thank you, it was a gift."
Yeah, it
That
is coming.
is,
Yeah.
we
Well,
got pure. You got,
yeah, Faith is falling out. Fun. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well, it's all right.
It's pure AI H living.
Ancient living.
Yeah,
Hmm, that's okay.
apparently
As
we're
long as it
we're
keeps your
in the
drink cold or hot, you're fine.
AI. It does most of the time.
Well, that's good.
All right, so why should we even worry about being merciful? So, well, the most obvious reason is because we see this here in the Beatitudes.
Mm.
Jesus is talking about it in the Beatitudes. As I've often said, the Beatitudes are the Christian core values.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it is part of our core values as Christians to be merciful. But if you need more reason than that, then we could actually go a lot of different places. But first, let's talk about Matthew 6:14 and 15,
Okay.
which these are the two verses at the end of the Lord's Prayer
Mm.
in Matthew. And we'll probably be covering that in about 8 years. Although that's really not too far away. We're in chapter 5 now, right?
Yeah.
So
What chapter is that in?
chapter 6.
Oh,
Is this our next
that's
chapter?
oh.
We'll be there in 3 years.
Oh my.
Tops.
Tops.
Um, so yes, Matthew 6:14 through 15 reads, "For if you forgive others their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses." So that's kind of stumbling over itself.
Yeah, it does.
Basically, what that means is that in order to receive forgiveness, you need to give forgiveness.
And not just say forgiveness. See, that's the
Yeah,
other thing. Like you can say, "Oh, I forgive that person." You can say those words,
yeah,
but if it's not on your heart, if you're not truly, sincerely forgiving of what it is, it's not forgiven by the Father
yeah.
either.
And whenever we do get to this, I have a lot to
Oh,
say
good.
about this, which we have kind of covered in some of our
We
past
have,
episodes.
yeah,
So,
we've had some instances. We've talked about it before, you
yeah,
know.
they're not in the video
No.
YouTube format. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're not going to find that in a video form.
Mm-mm.
But if you go to any podcast app, you can go back to, or just go to purefaithpodcast.com, and you can go to some of our older
Yeah,
episodes.
older episodes.
And I think there is one, I think we did a whole series on forgiveness or
I
something along the lines.
I think we did something. I know that we talked about it quite a bit, and I can't remember. I just remembered your story from being deployed.
I think the title of the episodes are actually the Lord's Prayer.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I
you
think
know
there's like
what? We did.
I think it's like three
And
parts.
when we got to this, I think that's when we talked about it because I'm real big on that. Like you can say you're sorry and you can give forgiveness, but if it's not truly in your heart, that's where
Yeah,
because there are certain circumstances that you can say that I forgive you because that's what the Lord want me to do. But if you're truly not giving forgiveness, you're only doing it because you think that's your only path to heaven, then it's like, well, wait a
yeah,
second, let's take another look at this. So when we
yeah.
do get to Matthew 6, then we'll have to
Yeah,
take a deeper dive into
we'll cover
that.
that in depth again. So we also have that in the YouTube format.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, again, that's more about, forgiving others
Hmm.
so you can be forgiven. And again, you could also take this a step further if you're living in a state of giving mercy, or if you are living in a state of mercifulness. If
Hmm.
that's the right word.
We're gonna go with it.
Sure. Um, then in order to get mercy from the Lord, you need to give mercy to others.
Hmm.
And then we also see this in the parable of the unforgiving servant in Matthew 18:23 through 35. That's way too much to read. I'm not going to read that.
Okay.
But the basic overview of this parable is that there is a servant who owes the master, the king, I forget the actual title in the actual story. I don't think it was the king. I don't think, no, I think it was the master. I don't know. One or the other. But the servant owed a lot of money, like a lot of money to the master. And but and this master was like, "Hey, we need to settle this debt. I need you to pay me back." And the servant's like begging, like, "No, I can't do this." Blah blah blah. Well, the master forgives the servant for this entire debt. It's like, "All right,
Hmm.
you know what? Don't even worry about it. I don't need that money back. I wipe your debt clean. You are no longer indebted to me." Well, then that servant goes out and finds another servant who owes him like pocket change. And but the other servant's like, "Oh, I don't have it on me right now. Give me a little bit. I'll go get it and I'll get it to you." And the first servant's like, "No, I need it now. If you don't give it to me now, I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to throw you in jail." And that's what he does.
Mm.
So
He
even
owes
though he
nothing.
was forgiven
Mm.
this ginormous debt, he won't forgive this other servant that owes him change.
Mm.
So, yes, you need to. The whole point of that parable is you need to
No matter
forgive
how,
others.
yeah, well, too, and no matter how big or how little, I
Yeah,
mean, you really need to take a deep dive on, if you've received forgiveness, then
Yeah, I guess to take that parable to the end because I didn't finish it. The master came back and took that first servant. It was like, you
He put him in jail too?
yeah, he ended up throwing
Yeah.
him in jail.
Yeah.
You ungrateful servant. I forgive you this debt. You wouldn't forgive him. So now I want to recall that debt and I want to throw you in jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, in order to receive forgiveness, you need to give forgiveness.
Correct.
So, to finish up this verse, they shall receive mercy. This is just simply like we've been talking about. In order to get mercy, you need to give mercy.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get forgiveness, you need to give forgiveness. It's just the way it is.
It is.
So you need to live in that state of being merciful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like we said, it's kind of like a state of joy. It's
Mm-hmm.
a state of mind. But if you can find that state of mind, if you can live in that state of mind, then it just makes life easier
Yeah.
because
More fulfilling.
it's just like joy. If you have joy and you are living in the state of joy
Mm-hmm.
and you're also living in the state of being merciful, then it doesn't matter what happens. You're just going to brush it off, knowing that you are going to have God's eternal promise.
Right.
And life's good.
Life's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a lick and keep on ticking. Take a lick
All
and
right.
keep on ticking.
Well, with that, we
Did I
thank
say
you. No, we thank you for joining us. Please leave a comment on this video or go to our contact page on purefaithliving.com to send us a message. And as always, if you like what you hear, then we ask that you share this show with others so we can all work together in spreading the good news of Jesus Christ. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will talk to you again next time.
Have a blessed day, everybody.
Thank you. See ya.